Hey friends, welcome back to Markelly Farm. It's 10 degrees below zero outside, so to say the least, we're going to do something indoors today. I have a bunch of casings left over from making sausage and I don't want them to go to waste. So what do you do when you have leftover casings? You make more sausage. And we have lots of beef in the freezer and I need to make some room in the freezer. So we're going to take some of that ground beef and we're going to make up some hot links. So stick around. We'll get some of those made. Brandy's driving me crazy wanting to go outside, but it's just too cold, pup. We let her out long enough just to do her business, but man, she's getting like cabin fever. We've got all of our meat is just about thawed out, ready to go. We have our casings soaking in warm water as per the directions. So we're going to start mixing up our dry spices. So we've got 6 pounds of ground beef that we're going to be using. We're going to start off with 2 tablespoons of kosher salt. I like to heap it up just a little bit. Now because we're doing hot links, we're not going to skimp on the black pepper. We're going to go with a full 2 tablespoons also of our coarse ground black pepper. 1 tablespoon of garlic powder. 1 tablespoon of onion powder. We homemade that in the freeze dryer. 1 tablespoon of red pepper. This is the stuff that Kelly buys. It's not quite as hot as crushed red pepper, but it is warm. Going to go with 1 tablespoon of our jalapeno powder that we also made from the freeze dryer. There's going to be several different layers of pepper, different flavors in this mix. 1 tablespoon of smoked paprika. That's going to give us some flavor and some color. 1 tablespoon of whole mustard seed. 1 teaspoon of ground thyme. Our last dry ingredient is a 1/2 cup of dry milk powder. We also made this in the freeze dryer. That's going to help retain some moisture. We don't need all that piece there. And also help it ferment a little bit. So now we give all of our ingredients a little stir. We'll break up any little pebbles. Already smells really yummy. That's not all the heat we're going to put in it though. That's just some of it. We've got some of our habanero salsa we're going to be adding in a little bit later if you didn't think this was hot enough already. But we're doing 6 pounds of meat, so we need a little bit of spice in it. So now that this is stirred up, we're going to get our meat unpackaged. And then we're actually going to use our new mixer over here to stir up our meat. Okay, we've got our meat in our mixing bowl. Now to that meat, I'm going to add about 1 cup of lard, of the rendered lard that we made not too long ago. And that's going to add some moisture to that beef, because that beef can tend to be a little dry by itself. Alright, we're going to take this for a little spin. All right, now we need 1.5 cups of very cold water. So we have ice water in our jug here. We'll measure out 1.5 cups of that. And then we're going to mix that right in our dry spice. That way some of the spice dissolves in the water and it'll distribute through the meat a lot better being hydrated like this. Now that our liquid's going in, we're going to add some liquid smoke because we're not doing this in the barbecue today because it's -10 outside. So we'll put a couple teaspoons of liquid smoke. That's all we got left in the bottle, so that worked out. And we're going to also add about 6 tablespoons of our habanero salsa. Now you might think I'm crazy, but I like hot stuff. This isn't for lightweights here. 3, 4, 5, 6. All those different flavors of heat is going to be amazing. Give that another stir. And we're about ready to go in the meat. So in goes our liquid. Let's run the bowl down a little ways. Now this sausage has to have this water in the mix so it'll run through the stuffer a lot better. And also when you cook your sausage, that moisture inside the meat will help kind of steam it once it starts to get hot. Okay, we've got all of our spice mixture put in our mixer. So we're going to take this thing for another spin. Now you see how that meat's starting to look like it's sticky? How it's sticking together like that. That's what you are looking for when you're mixing sausage. That'll hang together real good. Okay, we got a spoon in here. We scraped up any meat that had stuck to the sides and didn't really mix in and incorporated it with the rest. So we're going to scoop up, make a little patty out of this and fry it up and see how we like it. We'll put the rest of it down in the fridge. There's our taster, almost done. All right, folks, let's give this a try. It's going to be hot even for me. Really good flavor. I haven't got the heat yet. We'll see if it sneaks up on me. There it is. I really think I nailed that first try. That is really good. I can't wait to have some more of this stuff. So we're ready to stuff. So we're going to use our little 5-pound stuffer. We're probably going to have to fill this twice because this only holds about 3.5 pounds or so, even though they call it a 5-pound stuffer. When you're packing your meat in here, you want to pack it in nice and tight. Eliminate any air pockets that you can. And that water that we put in the mix is going to help it go through the system. And that's why we add water, is to help it run through smoothly and it doesn't come out in big chunks with a lot of air pockets. Okay, we got our canister full. You want to crank this to where the sausage is just about coming out of the tube. And then back off a little bit. About right there. Let's get our casings on here. So we're using a smaller tube so the casing goes on really easy. We can pack a bunch of it on here. These casings from Walton's are super long. I love it. You don't have to keep refilling your casings on the stuffer. So we'll probably put about half of this casing on here. and then when we refill, we'll go with the other half. Got our casing tied off on the end. We just need to start cranking and making sausage. You want to leave a little room in the casing to twist your sausages. You can see we have some air bubbles in here, but we'll come back through later and prick those out of there. Probably could have used a little bit more water in our mix. Okay, we've reached the end of our casing, or the case here. So we'll cut this side off. I think we've got enough room here in the sausage to link it up. So we're going through, and we're any place where there's a little air pocket, we're just poking it with our little toothpick there. And then we'll try to flop this over to do the other side as well. Making sure we don't have any over here. Got a couple here and there. You can see how the air pops right out of there once you give it a place to go. You don't want to leave those little air pockets because that leaves a spot where bacteria can start growing in there. Okay, I think we got it. We can start linking this sausage up. So we're going to go probably about that long with our sausages. So we'll give that first one a turn. Now with the next ones, you don't have to do every single link. You just pinch it right there, and then you don't twist it until you get your other link about like that. And then you can just twist that link. So about every other one. So pinch it right there. Pinch it right there. Give it a little twirl. All right, there's our beautiful links. Going to go down in the fridge. Let them air dry a little bit in the fridge. All right, we got our other batch of sausages done. They're all down here. Gonna dry off in the fridge. The first batch is almost dry already. Meanwhile, we have what's left that was in the bottom of that tube in the canister cooking up. Look how juicy that sausage is. I got a little bit of Kelly's homemade sourdough bread with our little patty and some Dijon mustard. I think I'm in for a treat. Alright, our sausages have dried off in the fridge. So now we just hung them in the oven here. We're going to turn the oven on 200 degrees. And we're just going to cook these until they firm up to reach an internal temperature of about 160. Alright, we just hit 160. Took about 2.5 hours. There's our sausages there. So we're going to turn the oven off. We're going to leave the door ajar here and let that cool down a little bit. And then we'll get those sausages, get them under some cool water. Okay, we threw our sausages here in some ice water to cool them down real quick. And then we'll put them back on our cooling rack here and get them back in the refrigerator. All right, there's some gorgeous stuff right there. So back in the fridge it goes, and then it'll dry out again. That water will help rehydrate the casings a little bit. So we are going to see you in the morning. We'll get these packaged up. All of our sausages have dried overnight in the refrigerator. Now we're sealing everything up. Okay, we got all that in the fridge with the exception of a little package in the refrigerator up here that I can use here in the next couple of days. I like these sausages so well that I'm going to make another batch today. I've taken out 8 pounds of hamburger this time so I can fill my canister full twice. And the only thing I'm going to do different is for the liquid I'm going to use beer. And then I'm also going to add some Tender Quick to give it a more red color. And I'm also going to kick up the heat a little bit more. We won't go through that process, but I will show you the end result. All right, it's the next morning. We got our second batch of sausage done. It's down in the fridge cooling off. I wanted to show you the inside of the first batch. Looks really good. We're going to stir some of this up for breakfast. Going to stir fry our sausage here in the skillet. We've got some peppers and some onions. I'm also going to take this opportunity for those that are interested to show you our freeze-dried eggs. See the egg powder in the jar there? So we've got 1/3 cup of water in our bowl here. And we're going to add an equal part of our freeze-dried eggs. And then we just stir that up. And it comes out just like fresh scrambled eggs. Just give this a little stir. You don't have to wait any real length of time. You can dump this right into the skillet and you've got scrambled eggs. Alright, in goes our eggs. We chose 1/3 cup of egg and water because that equals about 2 eggs scrambled. A little bit of salt. I think we're going to go with just a sprinkle of black pepper also because those eggs aren't seasoned. Dogs must see a squirrel outside. They're getting all fired up. All right, there's our breakfast scramble there. A little bit of avocado, sour cream, some tomatoes. Can't wait to dig in. All right, that was the perfect little breakfast scramble. It was really good. The sausage was just hot enough to stand up to the rest of the ingredients where we didn't have to add any more heat to the dish. And that's what I like about hot links. I rarely eat them just by themselves, but I will because they have some good flavor. But I like to make them hot enough for, like, even if you ate it like a hot dog, it would stand up to the rest of the ingredients, the onions, the relish, and all that, where you still get the heat. So I think the stuff down in the refrigerator is dry enough and cool enough where we can get it packaged up. Let's go take a look. Okay, as promised, here's the second batch we did. These are a lot more appealing color-wise because we added that Tender Quick. And we'll run down this recipe for you too. But beautiful sausages. I spent a lot more time getting the links just the right length, but still got a couple short ones here and there, but not a big deal. So we'll get these packaged up now that they're dry. I don't know about you all, but I never get tired of watching a vacuum sealer do its work. Well, there we go, my friends. We're ready for a summer barbecue or a pot of beans or some gumbo, or stir those up in a skillet with some sauerkraut. Absolutely amazing, very versatile sausage. I was glad I put a little more heat in these. Here's one of the last batch and here's 2 of the new batch. You can see the color difference with that Tender Quick that we used. So let's go over the recipe for this new one, in case you want to try that. I've already tasted them. I had that taster patty yesterday. They are phenomenal. Now here's the recipe rundown. I actually did 8 pounds and scaled everything up, but I'm just going to show you the 6-pound recipe so it matches the other one better. So to 6 pounds of ground beef, probably 80-20, we do 3 tablespoons of salt. But if you want to do the Tender Quick for the red color, you would eliminate the salt and do the 3 tablespoons of Tender Quick. And again, you can buy that in your salt area at your grocery store. And then I upped the pepper and the red pepper to 2 tablespoons instead of 1 to increase the heat. Also the jalapeno powder, we did 2 tablespoons. 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, 1 tablespoon onion powder, 1 tablespoon of smoked paprika, 1 tablespoon of mustard seed, 1 teaspoon of ground thyme, 6 tablespoons of habanero salsa that we make. If you don't have something similar to the habanero salsa, you can figure something out. We used a full beer, which is 1.5 cups, 12 ounces, 3 tablespoons of smoke, that's half a tablespoon per pound. 1 cup of lard to give a little extra juice because of the ground beef. You don't have to put that in, but your sausage will be a little drier. And then 1/2 cup of milk powder. We make our own milk powder in the freeze dryer, but you can use non-fat dry milk that comes in a box. But that's the rundown for this recipe that we used here. Came out super good. I prefer this version here, so I recommend using this one. So one of those extra sausages that we didn't vacuum seal is definitely going to be for lunch. And I'll cut that open and show you that. But until next time, I hope you enjoyed our little sausage making video here. It's been a real fun cold day activity here inside the house. We hope you come back and see us real soon here on Markelly Farm. And stay safe, stay healthy. We love y'all. See you then. Don't even ask me about ketchup.
What? You know what makes me really sick to my stomach?
What?
It's watching you stuff your face with those hot dogs. Nobody, I mean nobody, puts ketchup on a hot dog.